without criticizing fellow Jews, we have to have moderation in mitzvahs, right? Rambam says Bil Zahav, right? Bil Zahav is the golden mean. You have to do everything, be moderate in everything you do. That's what the Rambam says. So the people have character traits, midos, deos, as he says. So it says that you should be in the middle of everything. You shouldn't be, just happy all the time, frivolous. And you shouldn't be too sad or too serious. It should be normal. And he says basically all human mannerisms and behaviors fall on the spectrum, right? So there's a spectrum of that. How are you with your money? Are you too stingy, or are you spending your money too much? You should be in the middle. And the Rambam says it's only on two spectra where you should be an extremist. That is, in regards to being calm or being angry, you should always be calm, extremely calm, never be angry. And when it comes to being arrogant or proud and humble, you should be extremely humble. There's no middle. You shouldn't be on the middle ground. And if a person finds himself tending to one extreme in any of the other spectra, that's not good. He should push himself, go extreme in the other direction. So if he is lazy as opposed to industrious, is industriousness bad? Yeah, well, yes, it is, because some people are too industrious that they never invest in, let's say, family, health, and Torah. I say no, too industrious, like going the far. Yeah, if you're on the spectrum, and if you're lazy, so you won't invest also in family, religion, parnasa, right? So you have to know when to work, and how much. You can't be a workaholic, basically. So if a person finds himself as a workaholic, maybe he gives too much time to making so much money that he's ignoring family, his children. He doesn't get to shul on time. He doesn't learn enough. So he should push himself in the other direction until he gets to that good middle whereby he's working just as much as he's supposed to work, and he's also succeeding in his Torah study, and he's a responsible father, right? That's a perfect example. So the Rambam says also with your money, a person is too much of a spendthrift, well, you know what how destructive it is, and the person is too stingy, also it's going to cause harm. So he has to know how to spend his money right. Because I'll say how to spend your money. First on your family, how to do that, right? They say a person invest more in his children and his wife and about himself. He wears simple clothes. He doesn't have to eat fancy food, but make sure to feed the kids well and make sure you spend money on shoes, right? There are all sorts of things you should know. So you have to be moderate in our mitzvahs observance also. Why? Because it's legitimate to criticize a Jewish movement or a stream for emphasizing one commandment at the expense of others, right? The people were saying this about too much settling the land of Israel. For a while after the 6-Day War, it's all about building Yishuvim, settle the land of Israel, settle the land of Israel. And they forgot about the other mitzvahs. It's illegitimate if not at the expense of others. If you have people who actually keep all the commandments and they're excited about a particular thing, like settling the land of Israel is our mitzvah, and they don't neglect the other mitzvahs, by the way, then you can't criticize them. Oh, I don't like the fact that they're so excited. Everybody has a mitzvah that excites him, right? Isn't there the guy who's really excited about tcheles? You say, well, if that's all he cares about, but he doesn't keep kosher, that's one thing. Or if he cares so much about tcheles, but he's not wearing tefillin, I could see that. It comes at the expense. But if he's keeping all the mitzvahs, you can't fault him for being too extreme toward one commandment. Like that rabbi was very callous toward the Temple Mount, says there are people too much into this whole Temple Mount thing. Yeah, but the type of people who are into that, I don't think they're neglecting any mitzvahs. And not only that, the Temple Mount is being ignored by everybody else. So you need someone who's like that. So it's also legitimate to criticize the stream of movement for completely ignoring mitzvahs, right? There's a mitzvah they ignore, that's a problem. So let's say too much of the Haradite community. Yeah, maybe I could say that they don't care diddly squat about an army. They don't realize that the halacha demands of such a thing. That would be a legitimate conversation. If they would say Jews aren't supposed to have an army, period, no fighting wars, no defending ourselves, we have to let ourselves be killed, that's illegitimate. If they say I agree that people need to fight for our survival, but I can't join an army where they won't let me fight for our survival, and they'll make me eat non-kosher food and go see girls, dance and stuff, and then they'll make me, clear out a yeshuv or something like that. You can understand why they don't want to go fight. What's behind their objection? Basically, is it legitimate or illegitimate? What do you want to say? Yeah,
I don't know if there are Haredi and when
yeah.
say Haredi, never Haredi that. It's the question.
He's talking generalities. Yeah. So basically, sometimes we're too reactionary, and we need to be reactionary. What's Lama Dover Dom? We're talking about balance, right? You have a person on a tightrope or some other balancing thing. Remember that game where it's on a pole and it's a game board, and you have to put the pieces on the game board, which is two-dimensional, sorry, three-dimensional, and different positions on the board make this thing that looks like an umbrella tilt in different directions. You don't want the thing to topple over. Or a Jenga game, right? The person trying to regain his balance on the tightrope sometimes has to, go a little bit too much the other direction, not too far. Okay, so you have to go to the extreme in order to regain the moderation, in order to regain that balance. If something's too acidic, you have to put in more base. You can't just dilute it sometimes because you dilute it too much, it doesn't have enough. Sometimes you have to, be extreme in order to regain the moderation. So my proposal is that we should have a Judaism that keeps all the commandments. We can't overemphasize everything, but also we cannot ignore certain things. And the problem is Am Yisrael is ignoring certain commandments. We have an army. At least there's a lot of Jews, hundreds of thousands of Jews who have understand that we need to fight for our survival. That's enough. We have enough men in the army.
Well, we can't even do that.
Mm-hmm.
For basic Jewish leaders, everybody can agree.
Yeah.
Leaders call them. Don't ignore these thoughts.
Yes. So what mitzvah are we missing? No, the Jewish people. I'm looking at the Jewish people on a whole. There's enough Jews in the army, thank God. I disagree with the assertion that there's not enough Jews in the IDF. The problem with the IDF is not used properly. Okay? And that's fairly obvious with all the examples we gave. We have enough Jews for there, thank God. And the other rabbi, I think Feiglin said, should have a professional army instead of just drafting everybody. Pay more to those who are better at it. If we have a more professional army, we get the job done better. Okay? Sometimes it's not about numbers. That's the foolish Russian way of doing it. Russia historically has just been like, oh yeah, Zap Brannigan style. You could be a lot smarter and all that. So we don't have, let's say, a Jewish movement that's large enough Jews behind the rebuilding of the temple, for example. Right? So we have to seriously undertake that. And okay, fine. I'm just getting a message here. That's something we have to do. A Judaism that wants to keep all the commandments, even the ones that are politically incorrect or not Haradite anymore. The problem with there are Jews who they throw away large parts of Torah. It doesn't fit with their morality. And on the other side, I guess on the Haredi side of the spectrum, they have things that we don't do those anymore, so it's just been thrown out. Nisrachaknu.